Every decision you make today is negotiating with your future. You either choose disciplined discomfort now or you accept unavoidable struggle later. This is about doing what is hard today, so tomorrow has no power over you. Most people want an easy life, but easy lives create fragile people. If you want to become unstoppable, you must be willing to do what is hard. Now, hard work is not the problem. Hard thinking is not the problem. The real problem is that most people are addicted to comfort. Comfort feels good today, but it charges interest tomorrow. Every shortcut you take today becomes a roadblock in your future. See, life has a rule: either you pay now and live later, or you live now and pay later. There is no third option. Doing what is hard now means waking up early when your body wants sleep. It means studying when others are scrolling. It means saving when others are spending. It means practicing when no one is watching. And most importantly, it means choosing discipline over emotion. Because emotions change, principles don't. What you repeatedly do becomes who you permanently are. And who you become determines what you can never lose. Hard things build capacity. Capacity creates confidence. Confidence creates momentum. And momentum is dangerous in a good way. Let me tell you something important. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your instructor. The resistance you feel is not stopping you. It is shaping you. Every time you do the hard thing, you send a message to your subconscious mind. I'm the kind of person who keeps promises to myself. And once you trust yourself, the world can't stop you. Unstoppable people are not more talented. They are more disciplined. They delay pleasure. They embrace repetition. They understand that mastery is boring before it is beautiful. While others wait for motivation, they move with intention. While others ask, how do I feel today? They ask, what does this season require of me? And here's the secret most people miss. Hard seasons don't last, but strong people do. If you do what is hard now, your future becomes easy because you become powerful. Not because life gets simpler, but because you get better. So choose the workout, choose the book, choose the early morning, choose the uncomfortable conversation, choose the long-term vision over the short-term fix. Do what is hard now, because the reward is not just success. The reward is becoming unstoppable. Comfort feels harmless. It feels safe. It feels like something you deserve after working hard or dealing with stress. But comfort is deceptive. It does not attack you loudly or aggressively. It slowly weakens you while convincing you that everything is fine. Comfort is the enemy of greatness because greatness requires growth, and growth demands pressure. Nothing that grows strong does so in ease. Muscles grow by resistance. Minds grow by challenge. Character grows by adversity. Comfort removes all three. When you choose comfort repeatedly, you choose stagnation. You choose familiar routines over uncomfortable progress. You choose what feels good now instead of what builds strength for later. Comfort whispers lies. It tells you that you have time, that tomorrow will be better, that someone else has it easier, that rest is always deserved even when discipline is required. Over time, those whispers become beliefs, and beliefs become limitations. Greatness asks for sacrifice. It asks you to get uncomfortable before you feel ready. Comfort waits for perfect conditions, but greatness is built in imperfect moments. Comfort wants convenience, but greatness demands commitment. Comfort avoids pain, but greatness understands that pain is often the price of transformation. The problem is not rest. The problem is living in rest. Rest is meant to prepare you for work, not replace it. Comfort creates fragile people. When life applies pressure, comfort-trained minds break easily because they have never been strengthened. Greatness, on the other hand, creates resilience. It teaches you how to operate when conditions are not ideal, when motivation is low, and when results are delayed. Comfortable people quit when it gets hard. Great people expect it to be hard and move anyway. Every time you avoid discomfort, you reinforce weakness. Every time you lean into difficulty, you build capacity. Capacity changes everything. It changes how much responsibility you can handle, how much stress you can endure, how much success you can sustain. Comfort limits capacity. Greatness expands it. Comfort keeps you entertained, distracted, and busy, but rarely productive. It fills your time without building your future. It numbs ambition and replaces vision with temporary pleasure. Greatness requires focus, and focus requires saying no to things that feel good but add no value. That refusal is uncomfortable. That discipline feels lonely. But that loneliness is often the birthplace of excellence. The truth is, comfort today creates struggle tomorrow. The discipline you avoid now becomes the crisis you face later. The conversation you delay, the habit you refuse to build, the effort you postpone, all of it compounds. Comfort never stays cheap. It always sends the bill to your future. Greatness begins the moment you stop asking what feels easy and start asking what builds strength. It grows when you choose effort over ease, discipline over desire, and purpose over pleasure. Comfort may feel like peace, but it is often disguised stagnation. Greatness is rarely comfortable, but it is always worth it. Every future is shaped by choices, not wishes. Easy futures are not accidents, and hard futures are not surprises. They are the natural outcomes of decisions made repeatedly over time. Hard choices create easy futures because discipline reduces chaos. When you choose what is difficult now, you remove obstacles that would otherwise block you later. What feels heavy in the present often becomes light in the future, but only if you are willing to carry the weight early. Hard choices usually come disguised as inconvenience. Waking up early, saying no to distractions, staying consistent when progress is slow, investing time in learning instead of entertainment. None of these feel rewarding in the moment. They demand effort without immediate applause. Easy choices, on the other hand, offer instant relief and pleasure, but they quietly mortgage your future. The comfort of now becomes the burden of later. An easy future is not a life without problems. It is a life with capacity. Capacity allows you to solve problems without panic, to adapt without breaking, and to progress without constant struggle. Hard choices build that capacity. Sharpen your thinking, strengthen your habits, and train your character to operate under pressure. Without those choices, life feels heavy because you are unprepared to carry its weight. Many people hope life will get easier, but hope without discipline is powerless. Life does not get easier because time passes. It gets easier because you get better. Improvement is always uncomfortable. Growth stretches you beyond what is familiar, and that stretch feels like resistance. But resistance is proof that strength is being built. Every hard choice is a training session for your future self. Avoiding hard choices does not eliminate difficulty. It only postpones it. What you refuse to confront today will confront you tomorrow with greater force. Neglected skills turn into missed opportunities. Ignored habits turn into limitations. Unmade decisions turn into forced outcomes. The pain you avoid now compounds into regret later. Hard choices also clarify direction. When you choose discipline over indulgence, focus over distraction, and long-term vision over short-term relief, you align your actions with your values. That alignment simplifies life. Decisions become clearer because you are no longer negotiating with impulses. An easy future is often the result of fewer internal battles. The irony is that hard choices eventually create freedom. Financial discipline creates financial peace. Physical discipline creates energy and health. Mental discipline creates clarity and confidence. Emotional discipline creates stability. What once felt restrictive becomes empowering. The effort that once felt exhausting becomes automatic. Hard becomes normal, and normal becomes easy. Easy futures are built quietly. There are no dramatic moments, only consistent decisions. No shortcuts, only standards. No luck, only preparation meeting opportunity. Hard choices create easy futures not because life becomes soft, but because you become strong. Identity is not formed in comfort. It is revealed, shaped, and strengthened in moments of difficulty. When everything is easy, anyone can appear confident, disciplined, and committed. But difficulty strips away appearances and exposes truth. It shows why. Who you really are, and more importantly, gives you the opportunity to decide who you will become. Every challenge you face is a shaping force, carving your identity through pressure and resistance. Difficulty demands decisions. When things get hard, you cannot rely on habits built in ease. You must rely on character. Character is not what you say you believe. It is what you choose when the cost is high. The choices you make under pressure imprint themselves on your identity. When you endure, persist, and move forward despite discomfort, you begin to see yourself differently. You stop identifying as someone who tries and start identifying as someone who finishes. Most people underestimate how powerful self-perception is. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. Difficulty forces you to confront the gap between who you think you are and who your actions prove you to be. That confrontation is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Growth begins when denial ends. Difficulty removes excuses and replaces them with accountability. Every time you do something hard that you once believed you could not do, your identity expands. You internalize a new belief: I can handle this. That belief changes how you approach future challenges. What once felt overwhelming becomes familiar. What once intimidated you becomes manageable. Difficulty upgrades your internal self-image, and that upgraded identity produces upgraded behavior. Avoiding difficulty weakens identity. When you consistently escape challenges, you reinforce the belief that you are fragile, incapable, or dependent on circumstances. Over time, that belief becomes a limitation. Difficulty, on the other hand, builds self-trust. You learn that you can experience discomfort without quitting, fear without retreating, and pressure without breaking. That trust becomes the foundation of confidence. Identity forged in difficulty is stable. It does not collapse when conditions change or when approval disappears. It is rooted in experience, not opinion. You know who you are because you have seen yourself perform under strain. You have evidence. That evidence cannot be taken from you. Difficulty also refines purpose. When things are hard, what matters becomes clear. Distractions lose their appeal. Superficial goals fall away. What remains is what you are truly committed to. Difficulty filters your priorities and aligns your identity with what you value most. The strongest identities are not built through affirmation alone, but through action under adversity. Difficulty is the forge, pressure is the heat, and discipline is the hammer. Each challenge shapes you, strengthens you, and defines you. You are not broken by difficulty, you are built by it. Delayed gratification is the ability to resist immediate pleasure in exchange for a greater reward in the future. It may not look impressive in the moment, but it is one of the most powerful forces behind long-term success. In a world trained to seek instant results, instant validation, and instant comfort, the person who can wait, work, and remain disciplined gains a rare advantage. Delayed gratification is a superpower because it allows you to operate beyond impulse and above emotion. Most people are controlled by what feels good now. They eat what tastes good instead of what fuels them. They spend what feels exciting instead of what builds security. Choose entertainment over education and convenience over consistency. These decisions feel small, but they accumulate into patterns. Delayed gratification breaks that pattern. It interrupts the cycle of impulse and replaces it with intention. When you practice delayed gratification, you are not denying yourself pleasure, you are redirecting it. You are choosing a bigger reward over a smaller one. That choice requires clarity. It forces you to think long-term in a short-term world. It trains your mind to prioritize outcomes over urges and principles over impulses. That mental discipline becomes transferable. It strengthens every area of your life. Delayed gratification also builds self-control, and self-control builds freedom. The person who cannot say no to themselves is easily controlled by circumstances. The person who can delay pleasure can delay reaction, delay fear, and delay quitting. That control allows you to stay consistent when results are slow and progress is invisible. Consistency is where most people fail, not because they lack ability, but because they lack patience. There is a compounding effect to delayed gratification. Small sacrifices made daily create massive advantages over time. 1 hour of focused work each day becomes expertise. One disciplined financial decision becomes stability. One healthy choice becomes energy. While others chase quick wins, the disciplined person is quietly building something durable. By the time results appear, they look sudden to outsiders, but they are the product of years of restraint. Delayed gratification also protects you from regret. Many regrets come not from what people did, but from what they failed to do because they chose comfort instead of commitment. The temporary discomfort of discipline is far less painful than the permanent weight of regret. Delayed gratification allows you to trade short-term pain for long-term pride. This discipline strengthens identity. Every time you delay an impulse, you reinforce the belief that you are in control. You begin to trust yourself. That trust fuels confidence. Confidence fuels action. Action produces results. Delayed gratification creates a chain reaction that leads to mastery. In the end, the greatest rewards in life require time, patience, and sacrifice. Delayed gratification does not make life boring, it makes it meaningful. It allows you to build a future that is not fragile, not rushed, and not dependent on luck. In a world addicted to now, the ability to wait is a competitive edge, and that edge is a superpower. Pain is often misunderstood. Most people see it as something to avoid, something unfair, or something that signals failure. But pain is not a punishment meant to stop you. It is a teacher designed to shape you. Every form of growth carries discomfort, and pain is the language through which growth communicates. When you learn to listen instead of resist, pain becomes instruction rather than oppression. Pain gets your attention when comfort has made you careless. It interrupts patterns that no longer serve you and forces awareness. Without pain, many people would never change. They would continue repeating habits that weaken them, tolerating situations that limit them, and believing stories that keep them small. Pain exposes what is broken, misaligned, or underdeveloped. In that exposure, there is opportunity. The lessons of pain are not delivered gently. They demand humility. Pain strips away illusions, especially the illusion that growth should be easy. It reveals limits, but it also reveals potential. You discover what you can endure, how far you can push, and where you need to improve. Every struggle contains information. If you ignore it, the lesson repeats. If you learn from it, the pain evolves into wisdom. Pain teaches discipline. Physical pain teaches the body its limits and strengths. Mental pain teaches focus and endurance. Emotional pain teaches boundaries, discernment, and resilience. Each form of pain leaves behind knowledge that comfort could never provide. Comfort teaches you nothing. Pain teaches you everything you need to know to advance. Many people attempt to numb pain instead of understanding it. Distraction, avoidance, and denial may bring temporary relief, but they delay growth. Pain that is not processed becomes heavier. Pain that is examined becomes lighter. When you ask what pain is trying to teach you, you regain control. You shift from victim to student. Pain also builds perspective. It clarifies what matters and what does not. During difficulty, superficial desires fade and essential priorities rise. Pain removes noise and sharpens focus. It reminds you of your values and exposes what you are willing to fight for. That clarity is priceless. The strongest people are not those who feel no pain, but those who have learned how to use it. They do not let pain define them, they let it refine them. Each challenge strengthens their ability to endure the next. Pain, when properly understood, becomes a training ground for resilience. If pain were a punishment, it would leave you weaker. But when you grow through pain, you emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable. That transformation proves pain's true purpose. It is not there to break you. It is there to build you. Consistency in hard things is what separates temporary effort from permanent results. Anyone can act with intensity for a short period of time, but very few can show up repeatedly when the work is difficult, uncomfortable, and unrewarded. Unstoppability. Thank you is not created by a single breakthrough moment. It is built through steady commitment to hard actions over time. What you do consistently becomes what you cannot be stopped from becoming. Hard things test resolve. They challenge motivation, patience, and belief. The first time you do something difficult, it feels overwhelming. The second time, it feels heavy. The 10th time, it feels familiar. Consistency transforms difficulty into discipline and discipline into identity. When hard things become part of your routine, they lose their power to intimidate you. You no longer debate whether to act. You act because that is who you are. Many people rely on motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It fluctuates with mood, energy, and circumstance. Consistency, on the other hand, is principle-based. It operates regardless of how you feel. When you commit to doing hard things consistently, you remove emotion from decision-making. This is where real progress begins. Progress does not require perfection. It requires persistence. Every hard action compounds. The effects may be invisible at first, but they accumulate beneath the surface. Skills sharpen, confidence grows, and capacity expands. While others quit because results are slow, the consistent individual is building momentum. Momentum is powerful because it carries you forward even when willpower is low. Eventually, what once required extreme effort begins to feel automatic. Consistency in hard things also builds mental tug. Ness, you train your mind to tolerate discomfort without retreating. You learn that discomfort is temporary, but quitting is permanent. This awareness changes how you approach challenges. Instead of avoiding difficulty, you expect it. Instead of fearing resistance, you use it as confirmation that growth is happening. Unstoppable people are not immune to doubt or fatigue. They simply do not allow those feelings to dictate their actions. They have practiced doing hard things on days when it would have been easier to stop. That practice creates reliability. You trust yourself because you have evidence that you show up even when it costs you comfort. Consistency also simplifies success. When actions are repeated daily, decisions become fewer. You no longer waste energy debating what to do. You follow the system you have already committed to. This reduces friction and increases output. Hard becomes routine, routine becomes strength, and strength becomes inevitability. In the end, unstoppability is not about force, it is about endurance. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you will not quit. When you consistently do hard things, you remove the option of failure. Progress may be slow, but it becomes certain. And certainty is what makes you unstoppable. Greatness is not a moment you arrive at, it is a person you decide to become. Every hard choice you make, every uncomfortable action you repeat, every moment you delay gratification and learn from pain is shaping our future long before the results appear. Nothing you do in difficulty is wasted. It is all building strength, discipline, and identity. The path forward is simple, but it is not easy. Choose effort over ease. Choose discipline over comfort. Choose consistency over excuses. Do not wait for life to get easier. Make yourself stronger. When you do what is hard now, you remove limits from your future. You gain control over your direction, confidence in your ability, and power over your circumstances. One day, you will look back and realize the hard seasons were not obstacles, they were preparation. The work you did when no one was watching became the reason nothing could stop you. So step forward with resolve, embrace the challenge, commit to the hard path. Because when you do what is hard now, you don't just change your situation, you become unstoppable.